Good morning, dear students. I welcome all you for the today's lecture. The topic of this today's lecture is on bryophytes. So, what exactly is bryophytes? Bryophytes basically they are the ancient plants, which are the thalite-like plant structures. Thalite plant structures. They belongs to the cryptogam family, and these are mostly known as according to Greek, they are known as the mosses. And this division of the plant kingdom Plantae, the bryophytes consist of the mosses, the hornworts, and the liverworts. These particularly bryophytes are produce the embryos, but these seeds are absent and vascular tissue system is absent. They grow in water and land and are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. They are said to be the non-vascular land plants, and they cannot reproduce without the moisture because they require water for reproduction. Regarding the general characters of bryophytes, they are mostly they are primitive land dwellers, and they are small leafy and thalloid plant body, green plant. The dominant life cycle in these bryophytes are mostly gametophytic, where the gametophytes are independent, dominant, autotrophic. So these are mostly the rootless leafy shoots which are thalloid. Regarding the size of the bryophytes, they ranges from smallest being 5 mm, where the smallest is the zoopsis, and the tallest bryophyte is of the size of 52 centimeter, and it is known as Dawsonia. As the plant body is thalloid, it is not differentiated into root and leaf, but they have a small leaf-like structures and the stem-like structures, where the leaf structure they are known axis, and the stem-like structures are known as the phylloids. Roots are absent, and they are for the rooting function, the absorption function is performed by rhizoids, and these rhizoids may be unicellular, unbranched in case of the Rixia, Markensia and Anthoceros, or multicellular or branch as in case of the Sphagnum and Funaria. So these are the pictures regarding the unicellular, unbranched and the multicellular branch structures of the bryophytes founding on the moist shady places, the Rixia, the Markensia, the Sphagnum and the Funaria. In order Markensials, the scales are present, and these scales may be single-celled or multicellular and thick. They protect the growing parts and help to maintain the moisture within the bryophytes. Vascular bundles are completely absent in this, and the water and food material is transferred from cell to cell. Bryophytes usually they have a few cells in the groups. They present for conduction of water and translocation of the food. Photoassimilatory cells are also known as hydroids or hydrons and leptoids respectively. Cuticle and stomata are absent in bryophytes. Regarding the reproduction in bryophytes, mostly sexual reproduction is of oogamous types. The sex organs are mostly jacketed and multicellular. The female sex organ is known as the archegonium, and the male organs are known as the male organ known as antheridium. They are and most of them are known as sperms, which are biflagellated and are of the flagella are of Whipplus type. Fertilization is mostly takes place in the water, or it requires moisture, and this fertilized egg will remain within the winter in the winter of the archegonia. Fertilization, the fertilized egg becomes independent from parent gametophyte, nor it passes into the resting period. once the fertilization takes place, the zygote remains within the winter of the archifemale female gametophyte, which is also known as the archegonium, and here the zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division and form a multicellular structure called the embryo. So this zygote first undergoes a transfer division where the apex cells of the embryo forms the outer cell, and the process of embryogenesis is known as exosporing. Now the winter cells walls enlarges and forms a multicellular protective envelope called the calyptra. The embryo keep on dividing and differentiate and produce a sporophytic plant body, which we call it as a sporogonium. The sporophyte is rootless and consists of foot, seta and capsule, where in some of bryophytes the seta is absent, as in case of Corsinia, and in the Rixia if the both foot and seta are being absent. The sporophyte will always remain attached, which is diploid and also attached with the gametophyte plant body, parental plant body, throughout its life, and also is partially or completely dependent for the nutrient on the haploid plant body. The sporophyte produces spores, which are where the spores are being disseminated by wind. These spores are non-motile and cutinized and are called meiospores. And these meiospores, which all look alike, they are known as homospores, and these spores under suitable conditions, when provided, it will give rise to a gametophytic plant directly or indirectly by forming a lateral bud called protonema. And after forming the protonema, again the haploid plant body is formed, and in this way there is alternation of generation between the haploid and the diploid, and the life cycle of bryophyte is known as heteromorphic, or it is also known as heterologous. Regarding the classification of bryophytes, various parameters or the characters were used, and the characters that are used for bryophyte classification are the thallus organization, where external and internal features were taken, the types of the rhizoids they have, the types of the scales, the position of the six organs, structure and nature of the sporophyte, and degree of sterilization in the sporophyte were considered for the classification. As the term bryophyta was introduced by Braun in 1864, initially the classification of bryophytes included algae, fungi, lichen and mosses in bryophyta, but later the algae, fungi and lichens were separated and put in the division Thallophyta, and the liverworts and mosses were put in the division Bryophyta. Eichler in 1883 divided the bryophytes into two groups, and he called it as Hepaticaceae and the second group he called it as Massae. And according to the International Code of Botanical Health in 1956, they said the classes to be given a suffix called Opsida. So in this particular lecture for the degree students, the Rothmiller 1951 classification is being used, and the Rothmiller 1951 classified the bryophytes into three classes. The class 1 he grouped hepatic Opsida, which are known as the liverworts. The class 2 is known as Anthroceroptida, which is known as the hornworts, and class 3 is the Bryopsida, which are known as the mosses. According to the Rothmiller 1951 classification, this is the outline of the Rothmiller 1951 classification, where the bryophyte division Bryophyta is classified into three classes: the Hepaticopsida, the Anthroceropsida and the Bryopsida. These classes were again divided into orders, where the Hepaticopsida class is divided into four orders. They are known as Spherocarpels, and the example for this is Spirocarpus, The Markensias, the second order is Markensias, and the Riccia and Markensia are the examples for that. The third order is known as Jungermanias, and the examples are Porella and Pellia, and the fourth order is Calobriales, and the example for this is Calobrial. In class Anthoceropsida, there is one order and it is known as Anthocerotes, and in Anthoceros. The third class Bryopsida has 15. So it has the Bryidae has the 15 orders, and they are known as Tetrapheridales, Bombaxidales, Polytrichales, Dawsoniales, Archidales, Discrenales, Physidentales, Portiales, Gramineales, Encalyptrales, Funerales, Eubriales, Isobriales, Hookerales, and Hypnobriales. In class Hepatocopsida, which is also known as liverworts, if you see the general characters, they have 280 genera and 9,500 species, and the Latin word for Hepatocopsida means it is liver-like structure, and hence the name liverworts is given. So the plant body is gametophytic, which is thalloid and foliose. This plant body may be prostrate, lobed, and dichotomously branched, and the foliose is a leaf-like, lobed or divided without the midribs. Leaves are arranged in 2 to 3 axes. Rhizoids are usually unicellular and branched. In liverworts, the photosynthetic cells contain many chloroplasts where the pyrenoids are absent. The sex organs are dorsally or apically or superficially present. The members may be monoecious or dioecious. They may be simple. Simple. In liverworts, the sporophyte is either simple, in case of Riccia, where only the capsule is present, while in Markensia, the sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. The Archisporium is mostly endothelial in origin. The sporogenous tissues may form the spores, or in case of in the sporophyte of liverworts, the sporogenous tissue either form only spores or may differentiate into sterile elaters or spore mother cells. Columella is generally absent in the liverworts. The elaters in the sporophyte, the mostly unicellular, hygroscopic with the spiral thickening. The capsules with the sporogenous cells are the dehiscence of the capsule is definite by the walls or irregular, and the spores on germination form the gametophytic plant body and show heteromorphic alternation of generation. In class Hepatocopsida, there are 3 orders, and out of the first order is the Spherocarpus, which consists of 3 genera, and they have 2 families. The 2 families are Spherocarpaceae and Raleaceae. So the general characters are being mentioned over here, and this part is not part of details of this part is not in your syllabus. Order Markensiales of class Hepatocopsida consist of 32 genera and 400 species. If see the general characteristics of order Markensiale, this is mostly ribbon-like dichotomously branched dorsiventral thalli, and the genera has different 8 chambers within the dorsal surface. The ventral surface of the thallus has parenchymatous cells which have the storage tissues, oil and mesogenous cells. The scales are present, and rhizoids are also present on the ventral side of the thallus. The rhizoids are of 2 types, smooth-walled and tuberculated. The sex organs antheridia and archaea are found on dorsal surface of the and are known as the antheridiophore and archegoniophore. The capsule or the sporophyte is a single layered jacket. The capsule is simple and it consists of only the capsule. Foot and seta is absent in Rexia, while in Markensia it consists of foot, seta and capsule. So the latter may be present or may not be present in Markensials. The order Markensials consists of two families. One is family Richiaceae and the second family Markensiaceae. The second class of bryophytes is known as Anthroceratopsida, or it is also known as the common in the hornworts. If you see the general characters, it consists of 6 genera and 300 species. The plant body is flat, dorsiventral, thalloid, gametophytic and highly lobed. The rhizoids that are present in the plant body are smooth-walled, and the thallus is not differentiated into zones. All the cells that are present within the thallus are similar, and the 8 chambers are absent. The 8 chambers or 8 pores are absent. Within the cells, the chloroplasts are single and they have the pyrenoids. Regarding the sex organs, they are embedded in the thallus. The male's reproductive organs called the antheridia, they are always present in groups or singly and in a closed cavity called the antheridial chamber. The archisporium is amphithecial and the sporophyte is differentiated into foot, meristematic zone and the capsule. So, presence of the meristematic zone or the intermediate growth, it is very continuous and it grows indefinitely. Within the sporophyte, the sporogenous tissues forms the fertile spores and the sterile elaters, where the elaters are known as the pseudoelaters, and the capsule that is formed is 4 to 6 layer, 6 to layer, which is multi-layered. It has the stomata on the outer surface of outer surface. The capsule form the apex where it dehisces by 2 walls, and it consists of a single order called Anthocerotales, and it has 2 families, Anthocerotaceae and Notothylaceae. In class Bryopsida, which is also known as mosses, it is the largest class and have 700 genera and 14,000 species. This plant body of Bryopsida is gametophyte and is differentiated into 2 stages. Stage 1 is known as the juvenile stage, which is green filamentous branch structure called the protonema and develops from the germination of the spore, and the stage 2 is known as the leafy stage, or it is also known as the gametophore. This gametophore, which is erect leafy branches, or it may be unbranched, it consists of the rhizoids, stem and the leaves, which develops on the protonema. The class Bryopsida consists of 3 subclasses. Among the 3 subclasses, the first class is known as Sphagnidae. This Sphagnidae consists of 1 order called Sphagnales. So, regarding these Sphagnales, they are also known as the bog mosses or peat mosses, and in this, the protonema is thallus. It is gametophytic. The leaves are present, but the midribs are absent, and the 2 types of the cells are present. One is narrow living green cells, and the other one are the large and hyaline dead cells. So branches are lateral in position, clusters in the axis of the leaves, borne on the stem. The second subclass of Bryopsida is known as Andreidae. It has a single order called Andriales and a single family Andriaceae. So there is no tissue differentiated in the plant body. The leaves are large, erect and convolute, and archisporium and columella develop from the endothecium. The third subclass of the class Bryopsida is known as Bryidae. It consists of 650 genera and 14,000 species, and this is the subclass which has 15 orders, and this subclass is known as the true mosses, and here the protonema is filamentous. The sporogenous tissues are derived from the endothecium. The archisporium do not consist of the columella, and the archisporium has been derived from the endothecium.